Okay, finally, boy. Took me a while to get that to come up. Well, good morning, ladies, gentlemen, scrappers, scrapettes, friends of the channel, planet lovers, recyclers. Anybody I've mentioned twice or didn't repeat at all? Well, Scrappy D here with another video. This one's going to be short. I think I'd probably be off by 8:30. I do have a doctor's appointment. And good morning, Junior. So we've been working a lot on other things besides just scrapping lately. I had a flood in my kitchen. Good news is the kitchen had to be redone anyway. Bad news is I didn't want to do it right now. Been working, as most of you know who have been following me, I've been working on my outside gardens and such. My goal is to do the outside this year, this summer, and then come back in and do the inside over the winter. However, you go with the flow, right? So we have today a few more of these Dell power edges. I'm going to try to get this over. I'm having a time with my tripod. I have a replacement on order. I'm just hoping... I'm hoping she holds up long enough for me to get today's live done. Alright. Sorry I haven't seen you in the past couple days. Like I said, everything's okay. Just dealing with contractors, and flood and everything else. Really focusing really hard on getting all of the e-scrap processed. And pretty well with that. I got a lot shipped out to board sort. I'm still saving my copper, and I still have to get these graded and evaluated. I have a feeling they're going to give me number 2 copper on these. I gotta take the bolts off, of course. And but you've got, I mean, it's copper. It's 100% copper. But this is kind of lacquery, so I don't think they're going to... I think I'm going to get number 2 copper if I knock the screws out. Haven't checked yet. I really hate going to the scrapyard. I hate it with a passion. But I'm holding my copper right now. Maybe not so much this stuff, but the Bear Bright, yeah, we're holding that. Alright. They also make very great anchors for your tripods. So, today on the workbench I've got a couple of these Dell modules, and the only problem I've got with them, I'm having a hard time getting these front covers off on some of them. So we'll see how far we get this morning. Alright, let's get it. Let's get it, as I say. The backplane boards on these are amazing, and I'll show you some of those throughout the video. These and the Cisco modules have really been high in gold content recovery. I have all of these in a jug. I didn't really clean them. It's my first pot of gold, as they say. Boy, you want to talk about micro scrapping and finding gold. You got to check out Patrick Williams. He has been on a tear with just finding gold everywhere. I can't believe where he finds it. He found it in DVDs, not DVDs, CD-ROM drives, DVD drives. I had to go back and pull them all out. I was going to sell them as media drives. Now I think I'm going to go after them for the gold. Alright, so these are outdated Dell Blade server modules. They go into a case. They slide in like a drawer. They're a lot easier to deal with than the big servers. They're a lot lighter. And slide in like a drawer. They're a lot easier to deal with than the big servers. They're a lot lighter. And for me, that's a good thing. This stuff gets really heavy after a while. Good morning to, I see a lot of new names in the chat. Good morning and welcome to all of you. My name is Dee. I scrap computers. I recycle things. D-scraps, E-scraps. I'm a professional musician by trade. I have a music school. That's the other thing, guys. If you don't see a lot of me over the next month, it's rental return season for me. So the music school's going to have a busy month. But, I'll get stuff posted, just maybe not as much, eh? So let's see, what's been happening this week? Monday, took a ride into Rhode Island to, wow! Holy shit! Wow. Wow. Well, I'm awake. These are older. They're pre-2020, which is if you're looking for gold recovery, precious metal recovery, you want to try to find machines manufactured before 2020. The boards are of much better quality. So I've been going after these blade servers. I've got a negotiation in to do a pallet of them, which I really hope works out for me. I don't know if it will or not. I will get this video posted. I usually post it on my YouTube channel, and also if I don't go over an hour, I'll post it on TikTok. I don't like to trounce over other people's lives, but this is the only chance I have to go today. So I wanted to show you a couple of things. So this is a riser backplane board kind of thing, and these pull the plastic off. They are loaded with gold for gold recovery, and these modules have a lot of those. So do the Cisco machines and such. So just don't discount those. Just dig the plastic off, and you should do this. Now this is quite a bit of RAM. Yes, that's what the WoW was for. I did not expect that. I am doing well with the, hi David, hello Roger, welcome. Yeah, please guys, take a minute and don't forget to give us a little like here. And if you like what we're doing, give us a subscribe. I tend to be more of an education-minded channel. Spent 40 years in public education, and now I educate people about scrapping computers. Ay, ay, ay. But it's fun. I'm enjoying doing TikTok. I'm enjoying doing the lives. And it's fun. I've got a couple of people who I've really connected with and am enjoying chatting with on a just about daily basis. A lot of us are on YouTube together as well. And it's been fun. I've been doing this since, I think I started right after the holidays. The Christmas holidays this year. Alright. Here we go. So yesterday, I had more men in this house than a bar. Haha, you thought I was going to say something bad, didn't you? We had contractors, I had the insurance adjusters, we had just quite the bunch of people in and out of here, which is not a bad thing. They were all very nice. It actually worked out well because the insurance guy and the insurance agent, the adjuster for the flood, and the person I'm going to hopefully have help me get this all put back together, all happened to come at the same time, and that actually worked out really well because they were able to kind of collaborate, and there were things the insurance guy missed. Not picking on anybody, not bad-mouthing anybody, but the contractor went in and said, no. He said, look here, I can prove it's wet, I can show you, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, everybody's got a job to do, I never use my insurance, never. My mother and I used to pay things out of pocket and try to keep the insurance cost down, but unfortunately the water got into the floor, it leaked all the way from from my kitchen down to my bathroom, and that's where I got a lot of water damage. It all went down with right in the corner where the tub drain is and the commode is. There a lot of water went down in there, so the water got into the floor there, and it got down into the basement. And yeah. So we had them. Good morning, Jane, to the M. I have RAM sticks with heat shields on them, and chips under have mirror finish. Any difference from regular chips? They're probably memory chips. I'm trying to see if I have one of those handy. This is shielded RAM, guys, and there's a chip right under here. I usually take the shields off and put them in with my regular RAM for resale and gold recovery. I'm really not a computer technician per se, but this is shielded RAM. You just use a heat gun, and you put a pair of screwdrivers in, pop these off, and you triple your value on those. Sometimes you get ones with a nice. Hi, Kev. Good morning. Rich. Good morning. Marshall, Dylan. Hey, good morning. So this is RAM that is not shielded. I don't have to do anything with this. Sometimes there's a square processing or memory chip here, but yeah, these can be sold just like they are. Board sort I think is at $30-some odd a pound. I don't know if I have any more left. I've got some in my. I had it up on my eBay store. I sold like 10 pounds of it yesterday, so I don't know if I have. I think I have 1 or 2 pounds left. And you know, I sell it by the pound. If I can, I try to make some of this stuff available to you guys, if I can. I mean, usually, primarily, I have 2 places I sell to. One locally that doesn't pay quite as much, but I don't have to ship it. You know, it depends what I'm selling. Or what I've recovered, or what I'm recycling. These are really good for gold recovery. These are pin CPUs, and I have found quite a few of them in some of these older computers. These are the best for gold recovery. If you save about 1,000, you make it a pound. But they're ceramics. That's ceramic chips. The ceramics are really, really good price-wise if you're looking to sell. But they weigh nothing, you know. But look at the gold recovery on that. I'm hanging on to a lot of stuff, too. I've been hanging on to a lot of my gold-bearing materials. These are all things I've been finding in these modules. It's another one. This is a pin CPU. It's got a metal back. They sell for a little bit less. This is a cool chip. So those are pinless. Are pin CPUs. So we have those. I might have some in the eBay store. I'm not sure. So one thing I've been trying to do is pull things that people can easily recycle or recover gold. You don't have to go. See if you guys. I'm your middleman. Maybe that should be my new handle. Middlewoman. Me, myself, me, 8. You sell them, not get metal from them. Oh, I take the shells to the scrapyard if that's what you mean. Sometimes I'll sell a unit if it's working. But see, because of what I do, which is I work with IT people to secure sensitive data. So sometimes when I buy these, or if they're given to me, I have to sign something called a certificate of destruction. And that means I have to destroy it because that's what the buyer wants, because it's sensitive information. For example, I bought a bunch of servers from a gentleman about 2 weeks ago. And he was just looking for help getting some of the stuff broken down, but he said, will you destroy them? I said, absolutely, go check out my TikTok channel, that's what I do. And he hired me to help with that. But I had to sign paperwork, you know, saying that I wouldn't resell the hard drives. I had to take all those apart. Selling things for gold refining is okay. but I don't usually resell the boards, except to, I'll sell them to a refiner. Like, I don't know, Fairfield has a guy who, he wants 3,000 pounds to even look at me. So it also depends what the requirements are from my seller, you know, for what they want me to do. How to find a place to sell them to. Go online and look for e-scrap buyers near me, or sell my e-scrap. There are a lot of companies that will do it online mail. You really gotta hunt. There are a lot of good morning user ending in 1530, welcome. There are a lot of yards, I think, that are getting into e-scrap, but the problem is they're all middle people. If you can ship to a refiner, if you can ship to a yard that specializes in e-waste, you'll do very well. I would just Google sell my e-scrap or sell e-scrap online, see what comes up in your area. And so this is probably a half a pound. I've got a little more in the other room. And this is good chunky RAM, but it's old. So this is only, I think it's 2 gigabytes. So even though it's loaded, as far as being actual productive, usable, lots of memory RAM, no. But for gold recovery, oh yeah, baby. That's excellent RAM for gold recovery. By the way, guys, be careful if you're pulling heat shields. If you don't heat it up, you're going to pull all these chips off with it. And I know because I've been doing a lot of these. This is the same thing. This is Dell. And that's what's underneath. So yeah, those are worth cleaning up. Let me just go put this over in the other room so I have room to work. That's good. By the time I'm done today, it's going to give me another pound of RAM, maybe 2 that are able to sell. Now, a lot of these have, like I said, I don't mean to do a sales pitch. My point is I have it available if you want to save a step and buy some. I might have some on my eBay store. It sells out as fast as I can list it. Ain't it great? Well, $30 a pound, man. Probably a boss won't let us throw it out. You know what? Your boss might not be wrong, and that was the next thing I was about to say. I've got 4 garbage cans of it full down in the basement. I've been holding on to a lot of stuff. I'm holding on to these. These are copper heat sinks. I'll pull that in a second. And I probably got 300 of these in the basement. They're supposed to go as bare bright, but good luck finding a yard that's honest enough to do that. I'm in Connecticut. Well, are you local? Yeah, and like I said, ask all the questions you want, guys. I'm here to answer questions. That's what I like to do. So a lot of these modules have connections similar that function like a backplane board. Look at the gold. Look at that. I am going to knock this off, and I am going to pull this gold out of here. It would be a shame to just throw that away. There's more under here, so that I will recover before I sell the board. Absolutely. So I'll knock this off. I'll clean that. I'll take the aluminum heat sink off, and then this board will grade as what we call peripheral high grade boards. There's good chips. There's some gold flashing. So that will, you can always tell there's gold pins because, see the gold flashing here? It's under the gold pins. So that lets you, if you're not sure if there's going to be gold under something, look at the other side of the board. That has gold for sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. Me, myself, 8. Yes, lots of gold in the pins. It's not 24 karat. It's got to be processed and refined and stuff. But if you... With the price of gold these days, a lot of people are doing gold refining. I don't refine it. I sell to people who refine it. These are the things I sell. This came out of a Cisco server, and there's gold flashing here, so I know there's going to be gold pins under here. Definitely going to pull that before I sell the board. I think this may be a PCI board. I don't remember right offhand. These gold fingers, every bit is good as what you're going to pull off RAM. And you can buy these boards for a lot cheaper. This probably gold banded BGAs under here. So tons and tons and tons of places you can save for gold recovery. Like I said, I say good morning, Dave Donahue, and how are you? So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in these boards, which is kind of cool. Older is better. The newer ones, the colored boards, they're the blues, greens, purples, hot pink. Well, the green boards, not the green boards, the blues, yellows, black, purple. They tend to be plastic, and they burn really easy. Javier, good morning. Yeah, like I said, today's probably going to be short. I got to be off by about 8:30, only because I have a doctor's appointment. Yeah. So even here, this is all going to be full of gold. So these blade modules are excellent for gold recovery. The Dells and the Ciscos have been consistently good. So we've been doing really well with those. And again, I'll take off what I want to save or resell, and then the rest of the boards will just go. They'll go for profit, and so will the steel, I hope. You got to know what's inside, guys, and that's important. Otherwise, you're going to lose money doing this. Try to make friends with IT people, especially over the summer, because they have to go into the schools, and the schools will update. And this year there's going to be a lot of updating because Windows won't have support for Windows 10 pretty soon. Yes, ma'am, I do recycle the aluminum. I have a big tub of it outside. This is all clean aluminum. Well, this is painted aluminum. You got to put that separately, but actually that's not aluminum. It's plastic. Your plastic? No, that's yeah. So I got a bin full of aluminum outside. You got to make sure you get this off. Otherwise, it won't give you clean aluminum. They'll give you light irony. Lots of aluminum recovery. Yeah, I'll pop this off. I'll put that in with my clean aluminum. That's brass. That's the good stuff out there. This is the card we just pulled out of here. I'll get the aluminum cover off. I'll take the brass there, and I'll get that gold off, and then throw the board in with peripheral high-grade boards. Well, me, myself, it's a great hobby. I enjoy it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Biggest problem, which is what I was just starting to talk about, try to get e-scrap. It's impossible. Everybody's on the gold recovery train. The gold train is a chugging along. And it's getting really hard to get e-scrap. So make friends with somebody who does IT systems. But the problem is a lot of businesses require what we call an R2 recycler's license. It runs about $1,500 to obtain one. I'm in the process of doing that. But, they got to know that you're not just going to go take the computer and fix it and recover all the information on it and, sell the information. That's just not copacetic. There was a guy the other day I was looking into buying some service. It's me, myself, 8. There is no such thing as a silly question. You ask all the questions you want. I often can't tell either. I would say screws, they're not going to make them out of gold. They're going to make them out of brass. You can, brass is there's a weight difference. Make your best guess. I know that those particular kinds of pins usually are made of brass. They're not made of gold. I wish they were, man. I'd be a millionaire. You can scratch it. You can scratch the surface. Brass is darker, but it'll be yellow underneath. Anybody out there with some more tips on how to tell the difference between brass and gold? We have a viewer here asking a question about that. And I just really go by eyeball and feel. I always take the thermal paste off. If I have any prayer of getting number 1, it's got to be clean. And otherwise they'll downgrade it to number 2. These, you can just take this lay it down on a hard surface, not my kitchen table. You can take a punch and a hammer. These will punch right out, and you'll have a nice piece. Take the stickers off. That weighs 1.4 ounces. I've got about 300 of these in the basement. Cashed in a bunch last week and got screwed at the scrapyard. So I'm not going to go to that scrapyard anymore. I was supposed to get $3.79 a pound, and I walked away with $2.49 a pound. So from now on, they gave me light copper. No offense, light copper my derriere. So you know, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna bring it to another scrapyard. They're not gonna get any more of my good copper. I was really upset. You know, look, everybody's got to make a living. I get that, and I don't mind if you make something off the top because you're supposed to. You know, businesses make money. But don't tell me I'm going to get $3.79 and then weigh me out at $2.49 and give me a pile of crap that it's light copper. It's not. And I actually went and got it. You know, I had an argument, not an argument, but you know, had a discussion. They would not fix the ticket that was wrong. But from now on, buoy monitors. Why not? What kind of copper? This Bear Bright. I just got to get the labels off. That's beautiful Bear Bright copper all day long. I already have verified that. This is also copper, but this is going to probably go as what we call number 2 copper because it's got lacquer on it. Again, I have to get those nuts on it. Great copper in some of these older heat sinks, servers, and the heat sinks in them. Oh, a bunch of monitors. I would do hashtag scrap a monitor and see if you can get an answer to that that's better than anyone I'm going to give you. Oh, wow. Nice chip, nice and clean. Probably a Xeon chip, but it's pinless. So for gold recovery, it's squid. It's like doing gold flashing. They do not sell well as far as, yeah, it's an old Xeon. E5 2680, that's 1990s, I think. But there's no pins on them. There's gold, but most of the weight on these is here in the copper. So they sell for, I think, I don't know, a couple bucks a pound. You have to go online and look. These I sell. I keep these moving right along to the refiner because there is very little scrap value in them. And it's something I can turn over for quick cash. So these are pinless, see? And this is pinned. Desirable? Yeah. Good, bad, better. Alright. They've got some weight, but most of... Hi, Ed. Good morning, Dee. Good morning, Dee. He said to me, good morning, Ed. Do I sell ICs? No, I don't. Well, I take that back. I'll pluck the removable ICs. I don't value the board because the buyer I sell these to pays very well, and if I devalue the board, he's going to downgrade it. Also, it's extremely messy. You know, if you take an air chisel and start chiseling stuff up. And by the way, for people who have the right equipment, God bless you, more power to you. For this gal, nah. I'm going to take the computer apart, get what I can out of it, and computer, server, whatever the case may be. Some guy ripped into me the other day because I accidentally said computer instead of server. Told me I didn't know what I was doing, told me I was a jerk and an idiot and shouldn't be on TikTok. I'm like, wow, really? Go tell that to my 2,600 subscribers. Of course, he's blocked. He's not allowed on my channel anymore. I don't do negative people. So my comfort level is buying, taking off what I can recover, what I can save, and reselling the components that are worth selling. I make my money on the steel sometimes. That's back up though. I think it's maybe at 160 a gross ton again. It was down to $80 a gross ton over the summer. which was horrible. I'd bring a big load in my truck, I'd get $6. And I couldn't save it because it's just messy. So, you know, I make it in my steel. I'll make money on the copper. I make money reselling RAM. And then the boards I sell to, I have several refiners in mind. Just really, you know what it is? It depends how much storage I actually have, how much of a mess I can take in the house. Now this CPU is probably copper or aluminum, and that's interesting. I don't know if this is going to be aluminum. I don't care if I break it. I'm going to sell it anyway. Take a look. By the way, guys, these are super easy to break apart. I just want to look at a piece of it before I do that. This could be... It's interesting. I don't usually see them like that. Yeah, so this is aluminum. You can tell by the weight, aluminum is super light, copper is heavier. So this one, I'll either have to sell as a copper aluminum heatsink, or more likely I'll break all these off. I'll polish it up a bit and try to get bare bright if I can. To just sell it as is, as a copper aluminum heatsink, right now they're 10 cents a pound. Yeah, that's, 10 cents a pound. You can also go online and just compare different yards, see who's paying what. Scrap yards near me, people who buy e-scrap near me, those kinds of searches work really well. I do buy computers, I do buy servers. I don't deal with printers and monitors, but I don't have to, you know what I mean? I don't have to do anything, I pick and choose. Good morning, Andrew. Thank you for the gifts. Thanks, everybody. Make sure you please hit the like button. I would appreciate that, okay? It really helps the channel out a lot. And, as I said, I will, I don't know, maybe while I'm sitting in the doctor's chair getting my treatment, I can, if he's got good Wi-Fi, I'll post this video up on my YouTube channel, D-Scraps, E-Scraps, and if I go under an hour, it'll be here on TikTok as well. I try to do that because, a lot of times there's a question or some information that went by and I want to make sure you get it. Thank you to those of you who heard me and added your likes. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. Usually my time to go live is Sunday mornings. I tend to go on early, but I do the same thing. I'll do my live and then I'll post the video. So again, beautiful bare bright copper, and I think I have a whole bunch of these in my sort bin because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. Yeah, see that's aluminum. That's really weird that this one would be copper and this one would be aluminum. That's extremely strange. I should be able to pull these and they just twist right off. Once you knock this out of the way, you can just twist the fins off. And I think if I clean this up, I think I can get bare bright for this. To be determined. That's a topic for another video. But yeah, this time it's aluminum. A lot of times I get light copper. This be aluminum. So do I sell the ICs? I save the ones that are removable. I do have 2 or 3 people here on TikTok who buy them from me. I usually match whatever my buyer would pay me. That's what I sell them for. Because otherwise, no offense, but I'll lose money. Otherwise. But don't forget, I've already done the work. You don't have to go and pull the boards apart and go digging. You just, like I had somebody, matter of fact, somebody from TikTok came down a couple of days ago. Bought his family who really enjoyed my garden. That was really fun. Bought his family, came down, he bought 4 pounds of RAM from me. He does gold refining, but he doesn't want to have to buy computers, so he bought some RAM from me, and I was happy to sell it to him, and so those kind of things happen a lot, and that's fun. Some of these Xeon chips, by the way, make sure you take a good look at them. They do have a Xeon Gold. It is a newer chip, and there's also a Xeon Silver. You'll know right away because the CPU has a really strange, it almost looks like an asterisk shape to it. So if you see anything like that, keep those aside. These I don't bother saving. They're just not worth it. They don't, well, my opinion. How did I learn all this terminology? Watching YouTube. I've actually been at this about 6 years. Long story short, my regular viewers already know my tale of woe. I own a music school. Was doing really well till COVID hit. Like everybody else, my business, I went from 350 students to 35. And honestly, never recovered. So I needed something. I didn't want to lose the business. Well, Andrew, it is true. I learned all this from watching other people who do this. That's why I do this, because now I want to help people who want to get into this. And it's fun. I like talking to people, you know. That's my family. I never shut up. I don't get out much. So, where was I? Oh, so I started, I don't even know how I got into scrapping computers. I just did, but it was something I could do from home. They were a lot easier to get 6 years ago. I had a lot of computers in the school because we used to do recording, so we would send the kids out with, an inexpensive thing to use to take home to work on their recording stuff. And then when COVID hit, obviously I wasn't running the recording studio, so I sold it all. A lot of the older stuff I took apart for parts because I knew it didn't work, and I just began selling them. And did very well on it. So one thing led to the other, to the other, to the other. The end of the year came around. I was doing my school pickups for the band instrument service, and this one school had, 60 computers. They were going to throw them in the dumpster. I said, "Can I have them?" They said, "Sure." So I took them, and that's how it started. But then as everything evolved, and I had a nice big basement, it wasn't too bad. My mother, who was elderly, like all of us, I needed to be home and take care of Mom. The last 3 years of her life, she needed full-time care, and I was glad to do it. So that meant working from home. So I would do this from home, pay somebody to run the music school, and I was able to be home with my mom, and that was a blessing. So e-scrap has been a blessing until I started having to deal with idiotic scrapyards. They're not all bad, but I have yet to find one that's honest, plays fair. They really don't, especially if you're a girl. Forget it, man. They can all be polite and this, that, and the other thing, but look at your ticket and find out you've been screwed at the scrapyard once again. So now, before I even let him take it out of the car, I'll pull into the non-ferrous area. I will take my samples right up to the scale guy, and I'll make him write it down. What are you going to pay me for these? And he knows why, because he knows what happened to me with the copper. Yeah. Not only am I female, I'm a senior citizen female, believe it or not. I'm 65 years old. Why am I doing e-scrap? Because it's fun. Yeah, something like that, Andrew. Bait and switch. It's flagrant lying. And then the guy stands there, and I go back the next day with another sample, and I went up to the scale guy. Of course, it was a different guy. And I told him what happened. I said, you guys really, scrooged me yesterday. I said, Eric told me this, and Johnny Jones told me that. And he said, well, they're wrong. This is not bare bright. I said, oh, yes, it is, and don't tell me it's not. He says, well, it's glued together. So I took a screwdriver, and I said, no, it's not. And I popped it all apart. Bare bright. Not this one, but the other ones. The ones like this. I said, it's bare bright. Don't tell me it's not. I said I was supposed to get $3.79. You gave me $2.49 for light copper. I said, I call bullshit. I said, so, I said, here I am thinking you guys are an honest scrapyard because you're the biggest one in the state, one of the biggest in the country. I said, you're just as bad as the rest of them. He apologized. He said I was right. I said, good, then you owe me $35. He said, well, I can't do that. And I said, well, I said, I'll tell you, if it happens again, you won't get my copper. He's like, well, good luck selling it. I said, you think I'm going to have any problem auctioning off 500 pounds of bare bright copper? So he kind of apologized, but you got to know your stuff, guys. You better know your stuff, and you better stick to your guns, and you better have it sorted and weighed before you get there, or you are going to get screwed at the scrapyard. Trust me. It's going to be my next video series. Screwed at the scrapyard. You let them know you know what you're doing, and if you're honest, don't try to cheat your scrapyard, because they'll just throw you right out. And I wasn't trying to stick it to anybody. I had bare bright copper, and I wanted to be paid for bare bright copper. Really, how often do you see 300 pounds? Well, I guess they say a lot, but how often do you see copper like this come in your door when you're a business? Not a lot. Now, they want to be idiots. I'll find some. I have 3 of the places I can sell it to. So, anyway, they won't pay as much, but go shopping. Oh, you like that expression, screwed at the scrapyard? Yeah. I have a couple of videos entitled that. I have to be careful, though. I don't want to get in trouble either, so. All right. The only problem with these blades, is I have to cut here to pull the board. So I have a bunch of those awaiting that process. And these little fiddly screws, I don't know, maybe I can get this one apart. You got to do them by hand, because if you try to use a power screwdriver on them, they're going to strip just because they're so tiny. So you can get like a battery-powered screwdriver. Right. I got one more of these here. I may as well pull that one apart for you too. I'll put these down. I'll put these aside. I do all my cutting and grinding outside. Number one, I don't want to dirty and soil my house, and metal is very toxic, so you don't want to breathe that in, because you'll get metal toxicity poisoning. Somebody asked me the other day, well, yesterday actually, my UPS guy who handles my shipping. I had an open box with me because I wanted to see, if we could pack it differently, blah, blah, blah. So he wasn't busy, so he asked me about the boards. He said, well, do people, how do you make money on these things? And then he asked about cutting boards. Cutting boards. Those wrong business. Those are at Kmart or Walmart or something mart. I'll be here all week. Thank you very much. There we go. Okay. So this is the hard drive caddy. I got lucky. I can't believe I actually got that off. Ha! Well, that was nice, wasn't it? These are brass. And, well, that was nice. Thank you so much for being a nice little board, so I didn't have to put it aside and leave it unfinished. Yeah, sometimes those little stupid screws strip, and then you gotta cut them. Yes, very good, the muffin. This is indeed a Dell. This is a Dell blade server. Again, guys, I don't just strip these just to strip them. They are outdated. They are old. In some cases, I've been instructed. I'm actually getting paid to destroy them. I'll give them to you if you destroy them. There's no problem. Check me out on TikTok. You can even watch me doing it. By the way, guys, that'll give you a lot of credibility if you want to get into e-waste recycling. Do a couple videos. You don't even have to do a channel. You can just put some videos, like a personal channel, and show a customer, what you do to depopulate the boards. Okay, so this is a... I'm not sure what this is. This one I'm not sure. I'm going to have to Google. I Google lens these before I put them all in a packet. But there's gold here. This has got that gold ribbon wire. There's gold ribbon wires here. Aluminum heatsink, which means there's a chip underneath. These are just, we sell them as peripheral boards. Now this one will sell as a high-grade peripheral board because it's got a lot of gold content. I got to get the heat sink off, of course, and that's just a matter of nipping it. nip it over there with your friends. Here's another one, again, peripheral high-grade board. There's visible gold. It's fairly well populated, and of course I'll get the heat sink off. That's how I grade them, that's how I sell them. Sometimes if I get 10 or 20 of the same thing, like PCI cards, say I took 20 servers apart, they all had the same PCI card, I'll sell them in a lot of 20. I'll do something like that. You know, people can decide if they want to try to buy them and repurpose them, or if they want them for gold recovery. Whatever floats skis your boat skis. Whatever floats your boat. We're going to have a lot of boat floating around here today. We're supposed to have a nor'easter today. That sucks. We've had a lot of rain, but we just came out of a very deep drought. Drought. Drought? I need a beer. Give me a draught. Yeah. So this is a hard drive caddy. Again, guys, there's really just no resale. I'll get this little low-grade peripheral board off. I've got to get a torque screwdriver. Yeah, I won't be getting out to the yard today. Unfortunately, I suffer from rheumatoid arthritis. And I thank God in heaven that I do as well as I do. That's why sometimes you'll really see me struggle with getting things apart. My hands sometimes really hurt, and that I have to go for a treatment. Every month I have to go sit in the chair for 2 hours and get nuked. I don't know what they do, but you know what? Thank God in heaven it works. I can't even imagine what shape I'd be in without this treatment. I'm very grateful for it. So, that's why I said it's going to be a short video today, because I got to go get that done. I certainly am grateful there is such a thing. And, you know, there's some days I don't even bother trying to put a video up because I just can't do it. Now, today I'm pretty good, even though it's going to rain. So, I thank God for the treatment, even though it's painful and annoying. But you know what? It gives me the ability to live a normal life. Normal? I'm a scrapper. What's normal about that? Oh my God. So, like I said, I try to take apart a lot of different things. I don't take apart a lot. I mean, I focus on computers because that's just my niche. And I can scrap computers and keep the house fairly neat, which is really nice. Micro scrapping can be really messy. And I don't really, that's not something I want to do. I like doing this kind of micro scrapping. There's a lot of people out there who do some. Yeah, Andrew says he's in North Carolina, and he also had some of the storm. I don't know if you follow science or anything, but there's a huge solar flare, and a big, it disrupts things whenever you get a big solar flare like that. It disrupts cell service. It can disrupt all kinds of technology. But it causes something called solar wind. And solar wind can generate really bad storms. So, I don't know. I'll be indoors today. We had a cold winter here, too. Really cold. I mean, and long. It was a very long, very cold winter. Now, why won't you come out of the board? I just dump these screws so I don't get them on the floor. Look at this. Nice gold flashing. I'm going to pull this tape off just in case there's a screw under here that I've missed. Up. Are you going to come out? Usually when you're pulling on these things, all it needs is one screw to be stuck in there. Sometimes you have to take the latches off the CPUs because it's attached to a metal plate. Not always, but sometimes. Going to come out of here for me? Sure you are. Come on. Come on. Be nice to old Scrappy D. I hope I don't have to get these risers off. I don't think so. Where else might I be hung up? Let's see. Seems to be hung up over here somewhere. So maybe these riser posts might have to come up. Riser posts usually hold something peripheral off the board. Sometimes they're just straight and you can lift, but sometimes you do have to go back and unscrew them. In this case, I'm going to have to. Sometimes they're just, you can just lift the board up over them. They're skinny. But in this case, yeah, I'm going to have to get them. See? So, you don't have to Godzilla. Good morning, Joshua. How are you? I am well this morning. It's going to rain. Got a good night's sleep last night. I had all my contractors and insurance people and all that happiness in. I ordered myself a sunsetter awning. I hope it works out really well. We've always had a canvas awning in the backyard, but it's going to be taken down and put up and taken down and put up, and it really hit its last legs 2 years ago. So last year I didn't do anything. I wasn't in any shape to do it. But I did order that. I love being outside. There we go. All right. So if you can get these brackets off, great. If you can't, most buyers won't care. You know, if it's attached to the board, you know, it is what it is. But again, I don't know if you can see this. Look at the gold flashing here. I know there's gold pins here. Yes, I'm going to pull these. This is all going to get pulled before I sell it. There's gold pins under here and gold pins under here. I don't have my channel grip pliers. They're down on the other workbench, but that's... I'll show you. Hang on. I'm spilling the board. Oops! Don't spill any. This is what's under there. Okay. So yeah, great gold recovery. My precious. I don't process these gold pins per se, but you know, I'll save gold bearing materials, and you know, sell it to somebody who does do gold refining. Me personally, I don't want the mess. My neighborhood is fairly densely populated, and I don't want to put chemicals into the air that are toxic. I don't want to invest in fuel hoods, and it is not for me. But there are people who are very good at it. Southern Scrapper does a lot of it. Scrappin' Irish does it. If you type in gold refining, you'll find videos on that. But you'll also find it's extremely dangerous. It's not something to, I'm going to go try this. Please don't. I'm going to see if I can get these off. It's gold flashed, but still. And there's gold here. You got to make sure you get your battery out, by the way. There's gold in here that I'll pull out. I'll save that. So even though it usually takes me 5 minutes to scrap out one of these, you know, it took me longer because I was answering questions and this, that, and the other thing. Some people will cut this and then just sell this part of the board as what we call, this is called a dual metal socket server board. It's got 2 sockets, they're metal, and it came out of a server. So dual metal socket server board. Sometimes they'll call it dual socket motherboard, but everybody who knows PCs don't have dual sockets, only blades and servers do. That's what this guy said to me, that you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not a motherboard. Block. Go get your own channel, crybaby. Yeah. So, I hope you're enjoying the little bit of narrative. I know I've done a lot of these lately. It's because I bought a lot of them. I got a pallet full of them. I had mixed Dells and some Ciscos. Cisco boards, guys, are very, very good for gold recovery. Server boards, etc. So, let's see. I think I got time to do one more for you. Lather, rinse, repeat around here right now. By the way, that's a good heavy board. That weighs at least 3 pounds, and I think they're $3.49 a pound right now, so it's probably a $10 or $12 board. Plus I got the RAM, plus I'll get the steel, plus at least $3.49 worth of copper. Not a bad board. Not a bad board at all. Like I said, I'm just not sure about these. You can tell it's copper. I just don't know if because of the lacquer they're going to knock it down to number 2 copper. I mean, I would try to get bare bright for this after I knock the labels off and clean that out. I just don't know. You know, the thing is, if I show it to them and I go through it before they weigh me and pay me, I stand a better chance of getting a fair price. You gotta have your stuff sorted, guys, and you gotta know what you're doing. If you go into the scrapyard, they're gonna throw everything into the lowest category, and you're gonna get paid the least price. Not because they're trying to screw you on purpose, but because that's how they do business. They're in a hurry. Here's another board. This one came out of a Cisco. I did this one last night. I didn't put it on video. I just couldn't. I couldn't handle it. This is gold. This board I think came from 2013. I got to get this off. That's copper. I'll get that off. Gold banded VGAs. VGAs, bold gold, something or others. Can't remember what they're. A lot of gold flashing on the back. And again, right here, see that gold flashing? These will have gold, should have gold pins. Okay, I'm going to definitely take this. Look at the gold pins there. Yeah. Now this, something like this, I'll put a jug of these, a box of these together and sell as gold bearing material. Look at that. The older the board, the better the gold. All right. I got one more here, I guess. I guess I can do one more, huh? You want me to do one more? Why not? No high roller. I don't do all kinds of scrapping. I really limit myself to computers. I don't want the mess, and you know, I just I gave some thought to doing it as a full-time business, but it didn't. You know, I'm 65 years old now, and I'd like to actually slow down a little bit is what I'd like to do, but let me show you some other things we recovered last night. This is a really nice thing for gold bearing material. These came out of Cisco. They're called wireless internet interfaces. They're about this big by this big. They're made of cast aluminum, and they're dirt cheap. Last models we got were Aeronets. These were prior to that. Great for gold recovery. So anything Cisco, if you can get cheap, is definitely worth it. Again, here's another card I've got put aside for gold recovery. They function like a backplane board, something gold plugging into something gold. But man, so these are things I have aside to, I'll put a bucket full of gold bearing materials together, get it weighed, you know, and sell that to somebody who does gold refining. We sell those by the pound. There's another one. And again, you can tell because there's gold here, so there's gold pins here. Okay. I can go in there with its friends. You know, I save it till I get enough up to make it worth it. Yeah. All right, I think I'll just leave that one there. I have another one of these. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same. I have so many of them that I. These are a lot easier to deal with than big honking servers that weigh. Weigh 1 million pounds. I didn't see who asked it, but I just saw the question go by. Where do you sell your gold? Let me get myself a cup of tea here, guys. I have a pot brewing over here. Tea and honey are really good. Good for your throat too. It's pouring outside. There's going to be nothing done in the yard today, that's for sure. I did get all my bug killer and all my stuff down, so that was good. This is like, I just throw this in with low-grade peripheral boards. There's gold in there. See, what a refiner does, guys, is somebody who buys this board, right? You know, I sell it to a refiner. By the way, make sure you get the batteries off. I almost forgot. That would have been bad. You're not supposed to ship with the batteries. It's illegal. But when they do the refining, my transfer station recycles these at no charge. So I take those to the town dump. When they refine this, you sell this to a refiner, it'll go down the line. People will take all this stuff off of it. They take an air chisel, but the board itself, these older boards especially, This is very rich in copper, aluminum, and other precious metal, and gold. So they'll put this through a shredder and add 1001 toxic chemicals to it. And as it goes down this trowel, these chemicals will, these components will either sink or float to the top. And that's how they refine the board for precious metal. Very toxic, very dangerous. Not for the home gamer, that's for sure. That's why you shouldn't really cut these boards, because you can get metal toxicity poisoning. If you want to read something scary, look that up. It'll kill you. I was making a point with this. Oh, the battery. If there's a battery on here and it goes through that crusher, it could easily start a fire. So, be responsible and take those off. Now, this board, I still got to get this off. I'm going to try to get the brackets off. It drops my shipping weight a little bit, and it looks nicer to my buyer. The person I ship these boards to really pays fairly well, and they're super easy to work with. I don't want to jeopardize